Welcome back, everyone. I know I wanted to give you like a new background. I was going to come on here first when I got off work, but then I thought about all the things I need to accomplish. And I said, well, let me just get that done really quickly. And then I can, spend my time here with you all. But as you can see, it's the same thing, just a different day. It was a long day. Yeah, so we'll just leave it at that. I still have to finish up some things tomorrow related to today. But I want to tell my derm story because you've been so patient. So it was the puppy's birthday. I made him the mug cake. Whenever I make those, I always think I should do these more often. Excuse me, I don't know where that came from, but now my throat is really itchy. But I love this go live. So the only thing I noticed, because like it happened with the lady who I do yoga with, she goes live a lot for her videos. They don't show up on like um, the main section on the homepage or under the videos. Like you have to actually go under the live. And I've seen people leaving the comments. They didn't even know she was still making videos because she's been going live since September. And so that's the only, I guess, critique, especially if people they don't really navigate YouTube that much. They might not see this. But so after this was over, I was able to, it gave me the option to do like some post editing because yesterday I had mentioned it wouldn't let me pick a card, or at the end of YouTube videos it can show recommendations for their videos to watch. So it did give me that option in the end. And at first I thought I had to wait for it to upload, like it kept spinning, but it was actually already published. So I love that. So yes, that's the update on the YouTube live. And then I told you about the puppy. My dad came and decorated some Christmas decorations. That might be the extent of it, although I do want to do this here. And then we're doing a big, I don't think I've really talked a lot about, which I guess we'll get into today, but I'm on a marketing team and we're doing a really big campaign right now. So lots of exciting things there and also a lot to learn, which I really enjoy. So let's jump into this derm story, which I kind of started 2 days ago when I talked about my academic background. So like a couple, maybe, actually 3 years now, my partner had some acne, and at that point, I didn't really have a I wouldn't say I had a skincare regimen, but I was pretty loyal to brands. So once I would start something, I would just stay on it. And honestly, if he didn't have that acne, I would have never, I don't, until I, found, so yeah, I would have never changed my skincare regimen because I thought I was doing fine. And I think at that time I wasn't really treating anything. I had acne when I was younger. And so I was just trying to keep that at bay. Probably, actually, the main thing I used to have, like right before my cycle, I would always get just like one dark papule. It would stay, it would come before my cycle. And then by the time it was almost healed, it would be time for another one. That was like really my main complaint, as far as like my face goes. But I had like eczema growing up, and um, I always had skin issues, actually. I had a lot of doctor's appointments when I was little related to my skin. But anyway, so he had acne and he said, oh, we should do some microneedling, which I was not familiar with. So I went to YouTube University. And so this was during the pandemic. And so a lot of dermatologists were making videos. I wouldn't say a lot, but there was a good amount. And so I started following them. I watched all their videos. I binge watched those. And I think right before that, during MP school, I started to see like wellness videos. So I always shout out Nurse Ags for Derm for the content that she shared. And I have to shout out Fatima Francesca because she has been very consistent over the years sharing her nursing journey, and her entrepreneurial journey. And so she like popped up on my feed one day, And that's when I kind of got introduced to wellness in the med spa world and just a whole different uh, way to have fun at work. I always say I saw someone who was wearing pink gloves, and I was like, I want to wear pink gloves when I go to work. So my whole mind just opened up after that. So I credit the two of them. So when I was looking at the videos to learn about skincare and acne treatments and microneedling and all the other options, I stopped just being the consumer and I started, because now I'm seeing nurse practitioners kind of do this stuff. So now I'm looking at all the other options in terms of a career. So I went down that rabbit hole and I never came back. And so last year when I graduated and I was kind of thinking about, what direction did I want to take my MP practice and what did I really want to write about? Like I said before, I started off looking at integrative medicine and nutrition, did a whole summer on that, just looking at like options for training and education and, what directions to take that. And then came back to derm and looking for education and training again. And like I said, it was really easy to find things on aesthetics. And so I was looking at options for that and looking at all the prices that people charge for training. And there was a lot of discrepancy. Like sometimes it would just be like an evening, and sometimes it would be a whole weekend, but the price was pretty in the same range. And so I said, broke it down by the hour to see what I was really getting for my money. And then I stopped just being a clinician looking for training and I started looking at it with an entrepreneurial eye. And so that really just changed my whole perspective. And so, yeah, so then I'm still looking for opportunities for education and training like the rest of us because you're on your own because you don't get that exposure in MP school. Although that's starting to change just a little bit, just a little bit. And so I came across different textbooks, and then I came across diversity in dermatology. So I went on their website to see what they have to offer, and you can't access everything on the website unless you're a member. And so I looked to see how much membership was. I saw that it was free, so I signed in. I went to their blog just to see what they talk about, who they're targeting. And because not all dermatology resources necessarily speak to the advanced practice provider, which is something I learned pretty quickly. And yes, I saw their blog hadn't been updated in over a year. And so I reached out to them to see if they needed an author, and they did. And so after that, I then joined the Achieve program, went to the conference, and really everything kind of took off after that. Started meeting people and networking, learning about other opportunities. And the Elite and P, should I talk about the Elite and P right now? So yeah, the Elite and P, so I'm a member of DMPs of Color that was started by Dr. Danielle McCamey. And I used to, like I mentioned before, I was volunteering on the program committee. And so one of my tasks was at the time we were doing like virtual conferences. And since I was a remote at the time, I would help with all the like tech background stuff, like during the conference itself. And so like the chat and stuff like that. And so after the conference, she had posted somewhere on social media that she had done, probably Instagram, that she did a interview with on the Doctor Nurse podcast, and with with Sandra. I always butcher her last name, so I'm not going to do it this time. But it's one of my favorite podcasts. And so after I listened to Danielle's episode, I just scrolled the other episodes to see what they talk about on there. And I saw that one of the titles was this NP that makes like $450,000 a year. So of course, who's not going to listen to that? And that was with Justin Allen, the Elite NP. So the Elite NP is, I always describe it as a business troubleshooting podcast. Like so there's the podcast, there's a website, there's courses, and he just had his first inaugural conference. And so one of the courses that he has is dermatology course and some cosmetics. He also, which I took that class, I took that one. He also has one, I want to say specifically for aesthetics. and he's always adding new content. So just go and check it out and see what he has right now. And so that was kind of the first thing that I took. And this is all happening at the same time when I started working with diversity and dermatology. And then in the Achieve program, we have we get a textbook, and every month we have like assigned reading and modules that are associated with that. And then we also meet in real time with mentors and faculty throughout the year. We're coming to the end of that year, and then that following conference, they have like a reception for the Achieve program, which I did attend last year as a participant. Yeah, but this year I'll be part of it, like actually, one of the people being recognized. And so that's how that went. So yeah, that's how I fell in love with dermatology. Like there's just so many areas. Like I mentioned before, I think I'm, I, I'm I talk a lot, so I don't always remember where I said something. But yeah, derm has medical. So, and that was something I learned pretty quickly. On the outside, it looks like derm is like this huge umbrella, which it is. Um, it is and it isn't. So there's three sections: medical, surgical, and aesthetics. And at first it looks like, oh yeah, you just get in and you do all of it. And there are some people that dibble and dabble in all of it, but the more common theme is that someone picks one of those and invests most of their time in that. You can still find people who do, like I said, all of it, or maybe just medical and cosmetics, or more cosmetics and then a little bit of medical, whatever I just said. Um, so that was also interesting. And so that makes you also ask yourself, what direction do I want to go? So with the Achieve program, the mission there is they target NPs and PAs in their first 3 years of dermatology to help them build their medical foundation. And from what I've read, most people who are really into derm feel like that is your entry point into derm. Like you should have a pretty solid medical foundation, regardless of which of the three you decide to specialize in. That's not a general consensus because I think that people in aesthetics and who started there and who have remained there might beg to differ. So, that's just what's out there. But yeah, I love medical derm. And for me, what it really was, and I love the aesthetics too, don't get me wrong. But what I always said is like I would hate to just, do some Botox or filler and then not be able to help someone with their rosacea or their acne or, some other dermatological condition, especially when I'm in the position to do that. And so I love both of them. And I'm on track to learn as much as I can about both of them. Now, there is a study out there. I'm not gonna link it right now, but if you go to my Instagram page, it's one of the links in my bio, and they surveyed MPs and PAs, and it was all about compensation. I want to say for 2022. And people who spend more time in aesthetics tend to make more money. So again, on the outside, it would seem like, a patient visit is a patient visit, but really, certain visits take more time. And so it's not always, you're not always going to get your return on the investment if you try to do both all the time. And so that's another reason why you might see some providers lean more towards one than the other, because you can kind of knock out your medical visits pretty quickly if it's especially if it's like a follow-up. Whereas with aesthetics, you might have to do more prep or more post monitoring. And so kind of what I've seen a lot of times is like if there's multiple providers in a practice, they'll split up that, right? Someone might just do more of the surgery, someone else might do more of the medical part, and someone else might focus more on aesthetics. It doesn't mean they don't have the skill set to do it, but they just might divide it that way. Especially if you're new in a practice, that's also more common that depending on the who you're working with or for, they may feel more comfortable with you doing one thing or another. But some really great advice that I just received through the Mentors at the Achieve program, that if you, do your due diligence and you show that you're studying and working on your craft at home, if say you have some, an employer who says, oh, we want you to focus on just the medical patients for the first, year or first 2 years, and you really have a heart for aesthetics, you really want to get into that area, then if you show like, you're doing these continuing education credits, you're learning, you're taking these courses, people are going to pay attention to that. And so your career is in your own hands, whether you work for yourself or you work for someone else, those options remain available. So yeah, I think that's my story and how I fell in love with derm. Like I said, I just feel like there's just so many things you can do. I love specializing, and yeah, you can just take it so many different ways. Whether you're practicing, whether you're writing about it, whether you're teaching about it, because there's a huge gap when it comes to training and education for MPs. And so that's an area I would love to explore. Um, and so I think that's it for now. Thank you so much for watching. So let's see, tomorrow's Wednesday. Um, Going to be working on that marketing campaign with diversity in dermatology. So when I joined the blog, I was named the blog chair, and then I started helping doing a lot of their social media. And so we just put together a marketing team, and so I am part of that, which is very exciting. And I always thank them because you always think, especially as a clinician, that your first job is going to be patient related, but really my first job in derm was marketing, and I love it. I just love being creative and doing all of that, and I think they're related. So, um very grateful for the opportunity. So yeah, we're in the middle of a huge campaign because we're preparing for the 2024 conference in San Antonio, Texas, March 21st to the 24th. Right now we have an early bird special going where you get $100 off registration if you're a member. But the good news is membership is free. So that's an easy decision to make. I just finished posting a 3-part series on my experience at the conference this year in Orlando. And then in part 2, I posted my recommended strategies for attending your first or next dermatology conference. And then in the third and final installation, I gave a sneak peek into the 2024 conference, including our Skin Integrative series, which is the blending of derm and integrative medicine, a very popular area of healthcare right now. Or it's been a popular area, but it's really gaining traction. We have a career lounge, and we have a lot of variety of topics that you're not going to see at other conferences. Certainly, emphasis on skin of color. We're offering 22.5 continuing education credits. And yeah, lots of fun stuff. I had a lot of sightseeing opportunities in San Antonio, and we also put out an ad that shows some other places you can go within walking distance of the hotel, which is at the Hyatt Regency on the Riverwalk. The Riverwalk is a very popular destination, and San Antonio is the most visited city in Texas, actually. So I will take I actually, my the link to my blog is in the description box, as well as my Instagram, LinkedIn, and then the new DMV Dermatology MPPA group, which is a member-only private Facebook group for NPs and PAs in derm that live in the DC, Maryland, Virginia area. So those links are always included. And yeah, we're at 20 minutes. And so we want to stay within the realm of making this Vlogma challenge doable and realistic. I think I said I tried coming on here early after work so you wouldn't see me like this. I'll try again tomorrow. Tomorrow's a really good day. I should be done about noon, and I aim for noon every time, noon or sooner. Some late days are like 2 o'clock, 2:30 at the most. But yeah, should be a noon day, and the rest of the week, if I had anything to say about it. So thank you for watching. Again, if you have any Vlogmas to recommend, send them my way, and I will see you tomorrow.